Hello and welcome to the beautiful Wian Wian Falls. This is a beautiful conservation area in the national park, and we have the beautiful creek and stream behind us, which is going to be a lovely way to get us into this gentle, soft flow that we're doing. I've called this flow Stretch, Flow and Reset because we are going to stretch out, flow the energy in areas of the body that we often get stuck in. So the side body, the hips, the front and back of the legs. You might want to use a few pillows, so I'll get you to pause here if you don't have any pillows. I'm also using, you can't see it right now, but a block. So if you've got either a little pillow or something like this block that you'd like to sit up on, it's a really good tool in the stretches. Great. Now, before we begin, I'd like to just thank the traditional owners of the land in which I am flowing today. And I'd also like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and future. Okay, when you are ready, we're going to start with our legs out wide in a straddle. Now, you'll notice I'm sitting up on my block. Now, I was going to bring some pillows, but I'm in this beautiful natural spot. So if you have a pillow, that's also a really good idea. The reason I like to have my hips up on a block or a pillow is because they lift my hips a little bit higher than my knees, taking off any pressure in the knee joints. But also, and I'm just going to switch to the side to demonstrate this, they help me get a more neutral pelvic alignment, if anything, a little bit of a pelvic tilt. So whenever I stretch forward, I don't want to have this habit of rolling back so I get a curve in my lower back. I want to keep my spine as straight as I possibly can, and if anything, I want to think of the flesh, the sit bones, anchoring back as if they're trying to stick out towards the back of the room. And then what you'll be able to see from me facing the side is I've got this lovely neutral spine, and from here I can hinge forward in my hips. So that is the reason. You don't have to do it, but if you are finding yourself starting to contract and only getting a stretch in the back of the back, which is not what we're targeting, then I'd advise sitting up. Beautiful. So we've got our legs out wide. We're going to start with some yin yoga. So we're going to be holding these stretches for quite a bit of time, and we do yin yoga when we are cold because it's the best way to stretch out our fascia. Now, our fascia is the connective tissue in and around the muscles. It's what, if it gets really dense, it's what kind of pulls us out of alignment. So it might pull us into, this is an extreme version, but if I'm really dense in the muscle tissue around here, I might be pulled over this way. So we're going to start to stretch that out and hopefully even out the fascia in and around our muscles. Now, option one is to stay upright. If you're feeling this in the inner thighs and that is enough, then I invite you to either prep your hands behind you, put them in your lap, use a mudra, or we're going to start to hinge forward from here. Now, if you've got pillows, I suggest stacking them up one at a time and then resting your forehead on it. I don't have pillows to demonstrate, so I'm just going to put my hands down, and if you don't have any props with you, this is fine too. You can use your hands as a little bit of a support. And flop the toes, relax the legs. If you need to, a slight bend in the knees, whatever feels right for you. Great, we're going to be here for the next few moments. So if it's too intense already, I'll get you to back out of it a little bit or add another pillow underneath you to support you. If you're not really feeling much of a stretch at all, then you might want to go a little bit lower down. Beautiful. Now, whilst you're in this posture, I invite you to send your breath really deep and low all the way down into your hip bones. The reason being, if you can anchor your breath all the way down to the lower body, you start to expand the breath, you slow down the stress system, so that means less stress for you, and you can internalize a little bit more. If it feels nice, you might want to close down the eyes and simply take the awareness to this deep, expansive breath. while you're here, I just want you to check in with your head, neck, and shoulders. Make sure that they're not tensing up. Sometimes we tense up other parts of our body when we're feeling a little bit of stress somewhere else or a little bit of stretch. Doesn't actually help. So see if you can release it, and by releasing the head, neck, and shoulders, you might be able to stretch out the legs as well. We're about halfway now, potentially a little bit over. So if you do find your body starting to relax, you can start to feel a really slight tingling sensation, like there is movement in and around the inner thighs, then you might want to come a little bit lower. So if you've stacked up your pillows to support you, maybe take one to the side, just lower yourself down that little bit more. Okay. Same in the opposite spectrum. If it's feeling a little too intense, like you've gone a bit too far, then just back off, come all the way back up, or just put another pillow or support underneath you. We've got a few more conscious, deep breaths here. Now, as we come into our last 5 deep conscious breaths, I'm going to invite you to let go of any tension you're feeling in the body, or if any thoughts have come up that aren't really serving you, that are stressing you out, see if you can let those thoughts drip off the body, onto the floor and away from you on every exhale. You've got 5 deep conscious breaths. And on your final breath, support yourself to come all the way up. Stay in this straddle position though. We're going to start to go into the side body now. So if you do have your pillows, I'm going to pick up my imaginary pillows and I'm going to place them on one leg. So I'm stacking them up. And then I'm going to twist my body, so now my body faces the same way as the leg that I've got stretched out. Now I can rest my arm on top of the pillows, on top of my leg. I can take it to my ankle as I reach the top arm up and over. Now, a few different options for the top arm. You could just drop it down. This might be enough through the side body so you can have the arm relaxed. You can stretch out through the fingertips. That kind of increases the stretch a little bit more. Or an alternative I really like is to place your hand behind your head and then imagine you're kind of twisting up towards the sky. That helps to open up the upper side of the body as well. Okay? Now you can be completely relaxed over onto your pillows. Just feel what is best for you. We're going to be here for quite a few breaths, allowing that whole side body to really relax. Now, as we do this, make sure you don't lift up a hip. You want to keep both of your sit bones anchored down into the ground. So we want to stay with the hips anchored and then move away from there. So don't go so far that you start to lift that hip off. Good. As you're breathing, really expanding into that side rib cage. That's where we want to send the breath deep and low all the way through the side body down to that anchoring hip. Relax the head, relax the neck, relax the shoulders. They don't need to be involved, especially if you do have pillows. Imagine that you're kind of just sleeping here. Let the body do this for you. You don't have to force it. Okay, we're going to take 5 more deep, expansive breaths. And as I said in this first stretch, if there's any thoughts or tension in your body that's not serving you, let it go on every exhale. We are resetting the body, we are resetting the mind. when you've done your final out breath here, slowly bring yourself up, come up to center, and just take a moment to notice the difference inside. You probably feel a lot of energy generating up through the side body, and one side might feel like you're completely compressed. That's completely natural. Don't stress, we are gonna go the other side. Now with your pillows, real or imagine, shift them over to the other side so we can plop them down, create a little support on us. Beautiful. We're gonna twist away and then walk over. Place your hand either on your pillows, hand on your shin, leg, ankle, wherever feels right. And then the top arm can either stretch, it can relax down, or it can come behind the head, and you can almost feel like it's a little bit of a twist up towards the sky. We're going to be here for quite some time, so anchor those hips down and start to release into that side body. Deep, conscious breaths. Relax the head, relax the neck, allow yourself to completely relax. I'm being attacked by a bug. Hopefully you're not outside being attacked by bugs. Now you might notice that this side's quite different from the other, and that's completely normal. If you need to return to one side, like if one side feels really, really tight compared to the other, you might at the end of the class come back and revisit the side that feels tight, so you can slowly start to bring that back into equilibrium, into a bit more of a balance. Let's go for 5 more deep, conscious breaths here, with every exhale letting go of that which does not serve you. And on your final out breath, support your body to come all the way up to seated. And just feel that energy circulating. Hopefully the body feels a little bit more balanced now. Great, gently use your hands, move your pillows, forget about those imaginary pillows. Use your hands to slowly, slowly come in. Shake out the legs. We're gonna come into Paschimottanasana, or caterpillar as it's known in Yin Yoga. So, same thing, I'm just gonna twist to the side to show you. I'm sitting up on the edge of my block, but if you've got a pillow, it might be a little bit more comfy. And that's because it's the same concept as the straddle, the first stretch forward we did. We want to have that little bit of a tilt in the pelvis, as if our sit bones were tilting towards the back of the room, so that when I come forward, I can hinge from the hips and really feel into the hamstrings, the back of the legs. If I tilt the opposite way, then I come back, and all I'm doing is tightening my abs and stretching out my back, which is not bad in itself, but it's not what we're targeting. We're targeting the back of the legs. So to maximize this stretch, come forward, pull the flesh out maybe. From here, we're gonna just start to forward fold. If you've got your pillows, have them supporting you. I know this is from a personal level, this is an incredibly intense stretch for me. It can get a little bit nervy too, so if you need to, you can also put a pillow underneath your knees and bend them a little bit. The other thing I like to do here is, imagine I'm on my pillows here, is to just relax my head and neck. As soon as my head and neck are involved, then my hips just tighten up. It's not a good posture. Breathe, and remember, don't take this to your absolute edge. You just want to edge slowly into this. So yeah, there will be a little bit of intensity, but you don't want to be at your absolute extreme, okay? Releasing over. If you don't have anything, just place your hands wherever feels supportive and release the head and neck. You can send the breath deep and low all the way down into the hips, so really expanding into that lower back. That's going to help release the fascia, release the tension, help you reset. So we are at about halfway through this posture. If you've started to notice that the body is shifting and moving, and you might want to move one of your pillows out to go a little bit lower, do so. Alternatively, if it's becoming very intense, it's very, very uncomfortable, then place another pillow on top, bolster yourself up. Let the ego take a holiday. Who cares how high or low, if you need to back in or out of it? Doesn't really matter. You just need to serve what you need right now in this moment. Not what you needed yesterday, not what you might need tomorrow, but what you need now. For the final 5 breaths here, same idea and concept. Every exhale, letting whatever does not serve you, let it melt off the body, let it melt into the mat, away from you, so you can reset. Slowly using your hands to support you to come all the way back up to seated. Gently shake out the legs, invite a little bit of more energy and movement in. And we're going to move whatever we're sitting on, move our pillows out of the way as we come into what is called dragon. And I'm just going to face this way because I'm kind of on a little bit of a slope. So this one we're going to be targeting front of the hip flexors. Few different options on how you're going to get into this. So option 1, you'll stack the front knee directly above the ankle and then drop the back hip forward. So we don't want our buttocks sitting back because that's going to tighten up the hip flexors. We want to drop forward. Now straight away, if you feel any tension under that back knee, pop a pillow under it, pop a little bit of cushioning, a towel, something to just soften the contact of the kneecap on the floor. Okay, another option you might take is to bring the foot a bit further back, and this will not only target the front hip flexor, but you might get a bit of a calf stretch as well. Your choice. It's going to put a bit more pressure on the knee joint at the front, so if you've got any knee issues, I'd say definitely a big no-no for that one. Stick with the stacked knee on top of the ankle. Then the next option is you can have the hands up, or you can put some blocks or pillows around you to support you and hang out here. Or if you want to, and you've got the range of movement to be able to do it, you can drop down. You can either have the hands in front, or you can have the elbows down. You can also be relaxed on some pillows here. As long as we're still stretching into that back front hip, that's where we really want to feel this. Final option is to rotate the front foot to 45 degrees and twist. Okay, so that's also an option. Keep dropping and anchoring that back hip down though as you twist. Okay, a few different options here. Choose what is best for you, but remember the target muscle group that we are releasing is the front of that back hip. You will probably though feel a lot of sensation elsewhere. Okay, just tune into what you need, what is best for you. Now this one can work wonders if you work with the breath. On the exhale, just think of dropping and sinking that back hip ever so slightly. Your hip might not move, but just the active thought of releasing and drawing out that exhale can really help soften the hips. Try and keep the shoulders, even if the shoulders kind of come up to support you, just try and keep them pretty loose so that everything in the body can kind of feel liquid-like. Now, if anything is coming up emotionally for you, just know that that is completely normal. We store a lot of baggage in our hips. It's just an easy place when we are scared. We curl into a tight ball, so we grip our hip flexors. A lot of fear and memory emotion from that goes into the hips then. Therefore, when we release it, it can be quite intense on that emotional, mental level. So that is fine. Just check in with your body where you're at. Beautiful. If you need to, you can always back out of this and just take a moment. We've got about 5 more conscious breaths before we shift to the other side. On the out breath, really exaggerating that drop of the back hip. Let it go. I'm not going to sing from Frozen, but that's the sentiment. Let it go. Let it go. Good. Okay, beautiful. Shifting over to the other side. Beautiful. So let's just test out a few different options. If you're in the wilderness like me, maybe shoo away the horseflies, the mosquitoes, the leaves. And the next option is to stack the knee above the ankle. Much safer option. You can come up on the block, hands up here, pillow under the back knee. Then the other option is to bring in a little bit of a calf stretch. And the next option is to come down, hands, elbows, or even a little bit of a twist. Yogi's choice. Just serve yourself best, and remember we're targeting that back hip. And just note that probably it feels very different on both hips. Once again, it's one of those things, we are very asymmetrical beings. It's just natural, it's life. The patterns that we do every day really influence the shape that our body takes. So as I said, if you find that one side of this is incredibly tight compared to the other, at the end of the practice you may come back, or in another practice you might factor that in and pause it and just go, okay, I guess hang out here a bit longer for this one to really release. Okay, let's go for another 5 really conscious breaths, exaggerating the exhale, releasing anything that's not serving you, dropping that back hip. Good, and slowly release out of that. We have come to the end of our yin component. So now we're going to stand at the top of the mat and we're going to invite a little bit of energy and warmth into the body. The reason being, we now want to shift into stretching out the muscles. Now we need to have warm muscles in order for them to be limber and be able to be stretched. So we'll do a little bit of energizing flow now. We're keeping it pretty gentle, work to your level, work to what you need today. The idea though is we build up a little bit of heat before we continue to stretch. Cool. So let's just start at the top of the mat. Feet are going to be hip width distance apart. I'm going to inhale and then just exhale, bring the hands to the heart space. Just a few of these, warming up and inviting energy up. Exhale down. You might want to lift the chest up towards the sky a little bit. Oh, it's really nice looking up at the trees above me. Oh, glorious actually. And last one. Beautiful. We're going to come into the side body now. So one arm, doesn't matter which, you can mirror me if you like, is going to inhale to come up and over. Bend the knees as you come all the way forward and exhale. Shift to the other side, inhale to the side, and then exhale, come up. So we'll do that really slowly. You'll see we're working in a circle. Inhale up and over, bend the knees, exhale, forward fold. Inhale to the side, exhale, coming up, switching again. Inhale up and over, exhale, forward fold. Release the head and neck, inhale to the side, exhale down. Nice and slow to begin with. Then I'm going to invite you to slowly build this up to the pace that suits you. So we can breathe in a little bit, exhale, a little bit faster as we go. And you can start to really just allow the body to relax. So it's really floppy. We're still getting into that stretch, but it's like we almost feel like a puppet. Good, a few more, maybe lifting up the pace, keep it really smooth so we don't know where the movement begins and ends. Release the head and neck and keep those knees soft and bent. Let's go one more each side. Breathe the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart space. Come to the top of your mat. And we're gonna inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend the knees, touch the floor. You decide how straight the legs are. Inhale to come up. Hinge at the hips, flat back all the way down. Good. Inhale, lifting up. I'm bending my knees quite a lot so I can lift the hips high. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale down. Step one leg back. Straight away drop that back knee and just check that you've got knee stacked directly over the heel. We're going to inhale, take the chest forward. Hands are forward. Exhale, draw the heel back, starting to work towards a straight leg, but you might keep a bent knee in here. We inhale to come forward, reach the chest. Exhale, draw the hip back, flex the front toes. Good, just gently using the hands to support you. If you need something, you can maybe put some blocks or pillows to help walk you forward so you don't have to bring the hands all the way down. Okay, just work within your range there. Good. Let's go for one more of these. Next time you find yourself in the lunge, I want you to step back to a down facing dog. So my hands are as wide as my mat, all 10 fingers pressing down. My hips are lifting up towards the sky, but I've got my knees quite bent to begin with. I want to maximize getting the hips up so I can straighten into the spine. Then I allow a heaviness in the knees. Pedal out through each knee a few times. That's going to shift where you feel the stretch. You can move the upper body a little bit too if it feels alright. Relax the head and neck. Good. Now step one leg forward, preferably the leg you just had forward. Plant the back foot down and we're going to come into Trikonasana. So my back foot is facing towards the front of the room. My front foot is facing towards the side of the mat. Okay? Now, if you've got a block or a pillow or something handy, you might place that directly underneath your hands so you've got a nice support. You can even have it on a chair. If you don't need that, you can have the fingertips down towards the ground or on the shin. I'm going to stay here in Trikonasana. I'm going to use the block today. I'm quite tight in my side body. Arms going to do all the work. So the legs are nice and strong. If you need a little bend, put it in the front knee. Now stack the shoulders so that you're squished in between two imaginary walls, like you're sandwiched in the middle. And then inhale the arm towards the top of your mat. Exhale, reach the hand back. We want to have one long line from the outer hip all the way through to the fingertips. And then exhale back. We're going to do 4 more of these. Inhale to breathe and expand forward. Exhale back. 3 more. You can take the head to look up, forward or down. Just tune in with what's right for you. Going 1 more like this. And then breathe your hand back up to Trikonasana. Maybe twist the chest that little bit further. Reach, reach, reach to the sky for 3 expansive breaths. 2, 1. Very gently bring both hands down. Drop the back knee down into your lunge and then press back, down facing dog. Let's switch over legs straight away. We're going to take the second leg forward now, drop the back knee and work between these 2 positions. If you need the block, you've got it. Inhale to reach your chest forward. Exhale, draw that hip back, flex the toes. Good. Slowly coming forward, reach with the chest. Exhale, coming back. Inhale forward, nice and gentle. We're flossing out the hips. Giving it a nice clean, a nice reset. Back we go. 2 more. Feels a little tight. That's all right. Breathing through it. Okay, next time you find yourself forward in a lunge, place both hands down, press back to down facing dog. Just take a moment here, stretching out the hips, lift them up towards the sky, push the mat away with the hands for 3, 2, 1. Step the same foot back again. We're going to take Trikonasana on the other side. So I'm just going to face away from you, or I actually might come this way. So just make sure you're on the opposite side. You may be facing away from me, or you might want to turn to face me as well. Good. Now, block, hand, fingertips, whatever feels right for you. Let's breathe. Inhale, expand towards the front of the room. Exhale, reach back towards your back hip. Inhale and expand. Exhale to reach back. Good. About 4 more expansive breaths like this. Just choose where your head looks. Feels really good. Good. Let's go 2. Last one. And now reach up towards the sky, your most expansive Trikonasana for 3 breaths. Reach, reach, reach. 2, 1. From here, bend all the way. Find your way into down facing dog. Walk the hands back towards your feet. Roll vertebra by vertebra all the way up to standing. And we'll come into the center of the mat. Beautiful. We're going to take goddess squat here. So drop the hips down, rotate the knees out 45 degrees and press your knees back. Hands to the heart space. Let's build a little bit of heat first. We're going to inhale, press to straighten the legs. Exhale, sink the hips down. From here, bring the hands on the inner seams of the knees. I want you to use your hands to press the knees back as you reach the chest towards the front of the room. And then exhale, hands back to the heart space. Inhale to press up, stand and release. Exhale, sink the hips down. Inhale, reach the chest, press those knees back. Exhale, hands to the heart space. A few more like this. Inhale up. Exhale, stay nice and tall. Reach with the chest, press and open up into the inner thighs. Exhale back. 3 more. Good. 2. And last one. Then stay here, press the knees back. If you'd like, you can take a little bit of twist either side. Otherwise, keep with the hands pressing back, or you can even take the elbows if you want to go a little bit lower. That will intensify things quite a lot. We're here for 3 more breaths. And then come all the way up to standing. Exhale, flip your toes to face the front of the mat. We're going to inhale, lift the heart space high. Exhale, hinge at the hips. You can bend if you like. Bring the hands down underneath the shoulders. We're stretching all the way into the back of the legs, lifting those hips nice and high. If you want to place a block, pillow, chair underneath you if you need a little bit more support. Otherwise, you can come down to the ground. Release the head and neck. We're going to stay here for 5 deep breaths, stretching out the back body. Beautiful. Bend your knees, roll vertebra by vertebra all the way up to standing. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart space. Turn and face to the top of your mat. We're going to take this whole sequence from the beginning, just once through. Final bit of heat before we come into some active stretching. So hands to the heart space. Let's use an inhale to breathe up. Exhale to land down. Let's press one back. Inhale to come forward. And then exhale to come back. Inhale back to forward, back to down facing dog. Exhale. Same leg comes forward. We're going to open up to Trikonasana. Use an inhale, reach up. Exhale to stay. Now inhale, float the arms forward. Exhale to come back. Inhale, lift up towards the sky. Exhale, hands down, press back to down facing dog. Switching sides. Second leg forward. Use the inhale, reach forward. Exhale, drawing back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, come back to down facing dog. Step the same foot forward. Open up to Trikonasana. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to stay. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, lift up towards the sky. Exhale, plant the hands down, press back to down facing dog. Walk the hands back to the legs, roll vertebra by vertebra. Use an inhale to bring the hands up to the sky. Exhale, find your way to goddess pose. Just one goddess pose. Inhale to stretch up. Exhale, sinking the hips down, hands to the inner seam. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Exhale, hands to the heart space. Inhale, flip the toes forward. Exhale, come all the way down. Let's hold for 3 breaths here, releasing the head and neck. For 3, stretching into the back of the legs. 2, 1, roll vertebra by vertebra all the way up to standing. Use your inhale, heel toe, the hands, and then back flip, somersault, handstand, however you'd like. Find your way down to the ground. I'm just gonna sit down, but you know, creative ways opening up to you. Okay, so now we're gonna return to all the stretches we did a la yin yoga at the beginning of the class. We're now going to make these some active stretches. So we're going to hold them for about 5 to 8 conscious breaths, but the muscles that we're not stretching, we're going to fire those up so they contract as much as possible to allow the opposition muscle to really release. Okay, first one, if you want to sit up on a block or a pillow, sit on the edge of it. Take your legs nice and wide. Good. Now, if that's already intense enough for you, I want you to just place your hands behind you to support and lift you up. But everyone, I either want you to point your toes, actively point, or flex your toes, flex, 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 flex. And I want you to think of drawing your kneecaps towards your hips. Now, if I just relax, my quads are really chilled out. But if I flex my feet or point my feet and draw those kneecaps towards my hips, then you'll feel that your quads are activated, which means as we come forward, the inner seam of the legs, the back seam of the legs is going to be able to stretch more. Okay, 5 to 8 breaths, either upright or coming forward. Now I want you to keep your spine completely straight. On every inhale as we go, I want inhale to be lengthening, exhale a little bit further forward, but keep it nice and straight. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. A few more like this. Really use your breath to help lengthen. Keep the legs active. Kneecaps are drawing up. Okay, only go as far that you can keep that spine nice and long. We did the curve before. Now we're trying to really lengthen. Let's go for 2 more of these. Hold for 1 breath. And then slowly, slowly walk your way back up. Good, stay where we are. We're gonna go straight into the side body. So twisting, hand in front of the knee. You're gonna reach over or hand behind the head as you come over to the side body. If you're really, I'm just gonna take that off because it's a little bit uncomfortable. If you're really flexible, you might find that you can hold on to the top toes. However, do not compromise by collapsing forward. I want you to keep both shoulders stacked on top of each other as you do this. So if you do happen to reach it, it's because you're so open versus closed off, okay? Let's hold here for a few more breaths. Anchor both sit bones down and keep those legs active. Reach on your inhale, exhale, soften down. Reach on your inhale and exhale, soften down. 2 more of your own breaths. And then slowly reach up. Feel the difference in body. The energy is just spiraling up this side body. Cool, let's go straight away. Twist towards the leg. You're going to come. Hand is in front, reaching up and over. Hand behind head, and then taking it over as far as you'd like. Remember, let's keep the legs really active. And if you are reaching for the toes, make sure you're stacking both shoulders. Don't collapse forward. It's a different stretching completely. And we're going to stay here for a few more breaths. On your inhale, expand, expand and lengthen. Exhale, come down. Anchor those 2 hips down. Active stretch for 3, 2, 1. Slowly lift all the way up. shake the legs in. Beautiful. Turn or keep facing forward. Yogi's choice, we're going to come in to Paschimottanasana. If you want to sit up on your block or pillow, do so. You're going to inhale to lift up. Same thing. I want you to have the kneecaps drawing towards the legs, flexing the toes or pointing the toes. Doesn't matter which one, but keep it strong. Inhale up, and then exhale, come forward. Keep with the flat spine. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, just come forward. So it might be really subtle. Remember, you're trying to get your sit bones to sit out towards the back of your mat. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. Go for 5 more breaths like this. Avoid contracting down. We want to keep lengthening the spine. Inhale to lengthen. It might just be the subtlest exhale forward. Good. Keep drawing the kneecaps up towards so you can really lengthen out the back of the legs. 3 more breaths. Release the head and neck. They're not involved. 2, 1. Now relax down for 3 breaths. Relax the legs. Oh. And slowly come all the way up. Beautiful. Shake them out. Final stretch on each side before we enter into Shavasana. Dragon pose. Okay. Decide whether you're here, whichever one it is. Every exhale, dropping and lengthening down. And just notice the difference from the beginning of the class. Feel how much more opening there is in the hips. Remember, you've also got the option of coming down onto the mat, and you can even take a twist if that feels right for you. Let's go for 4 more conscious breaths. Head and neck release. We're almost there. Slowly release. Just sit back into a little child's pose. Take a moment. And switching over sides. Opposite leg in front now. Find your variation. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's so many different variations. Okay, down you go. Let's hold for about 5 deep conscious breaths. Breathe deep into the hips. Every exhale, let go of that which does not serve you. Let's go for 2 more breaths here. Slowly release as you come out. Beautiful. Make your way to Shavasana. You have earned it. Lying down, find your way down. Now, as you come into Shavasana, just make sure you're completely relaxed. Palms are facing up, feet are dropped out. If you have any discomfort in the lower back, you can always bend the knees. You can even place a little pillow underneath the knees. That can be a nice way to relax. Now, as you lie here in Shavasana, I'm going to take you through a round of consciousness where I invite you to release each body part that I talk of. Okay? So if you haven't already, just soften your gaze or close down the eyes. This is a really beautiful way to finish off this type of class. So, as I direct you to a body part, I want you to just take your awareness there and then feel a softening, melting sensation, as if any tension or stress in that part of the body could just melt off your body. Okay? So the place we will start with is the space between the eyebrows. Just allow any tension to melt away from here. Then come down into the cheekbones, into the jawline, into the front of the neck, back of the neck, into the front of the right shoulder, the back of the right shoulder, the right upper arm, the right elbow, the right forearm, the right wrist, the right top of the palm, back of the palm, the right thumb, second finger, third, fourth, fifth. Then taking the awareness to the front of the left shoulder, the back of the left shoulder, the left upper arm, the left elbow, the left forearm, the left wrist, the back of the hand, the palm of the hand, the left thumb, second finger, third, fourth, fifth. Then allow that melting sensation around the chest, around the upper back, around the belly, around the mid-back, around the pelvis, around the lower back, in and around the right hip, the right upper leg, the right knee, the right lower leg, the right ankle, the top of the right foot, the sole of the right foot, the right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth. And then taking that awareness to the left hip, in and around the left hip, the left upper leg, the left knee, the left lower leg, the left ankle, the left top of the foot, sole of the foot, the left big toe, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And then taking that awareness back to the space between the eyebrows. And I invite you now to take a full rotation from the top of the head all the way down to the feet. Just a quick scan through the body. If there's any final tension, just locate it and then visualize or feel the sensation of that tension melting away and off the body. And bringing some movement to your fingers and toes when you are ready. If you'd like to stay longer, that's always an option. Otherwise, awakening the body, stretching the feet and hands away from each other. tugging the knees into the chest. You can circle the knees each way a few times. Roll over to one side. Final moment to let any tension just melt off the body. And then using your hands to support you, make your way up to a comfortable seat, and we'll finish seated today. And when you are ready, bring your hands to your heart space. Thank you so much for practicing. Give yourself a moment for thanking yourself as well for committing to this practice of resetting the body. It really does make a difference, especially when you're feeling stagnant or stuck. Come back to this practice anytime that you need that reset, that release. And I'll see you in another class. Thank you very much. Namaste. Bye.